Yeah, warm welcome to the workshop on individual reflection spaces, and really a workshop on how to get things going. And if you have not connected, for instance, your reflection space, if you have not created this, hopefully you will get a head start now to get going. Um, Also, if there is anything, as last week with Dave, I also have an eye on the chat, or unless you just want to unmute yourself and ask me questions, rest assured there are no stupid questions. There will be someone else also in the room who has probably the same question, so be the brave person to ask that question right away so we can clear things out. Um, in the beginning, I always like to start with the why. Why are we doing this? Why are we want you to reflect on stuff? Have you thought about this? Or do you want your students to reflect on the stuff you take up in the courses? This is more maybe a hi Kasai, maybe a rhetorical question. But many of us, I think, would like our students to be reflective and reflecting on what they learned and what they read and the models. Um, when we are as a Center for Teaching and Learning, we often want our colleagues to be reflective practitioners. But this is also the same for engineers, I think, or medical staff. It's good to be a reflective practitioner, I think. That we take in theory, and with the theory reflecting on experiences and situations we've been facing, and also to influence how we keep on going in with our different practices, whether we teach, whether we design courses. um, yeah, and well, I think you are, and I think it's already set up. I will go through this shortly, Mark. I think it's all up and running, really. We'll go through this um, in a second. Just quickly, there's a lot of theory. You can read about it in this article if you wanted to. If you want to have more inputs theoretically on why reflecting is a good thing for teaching and learning in higher education. But um, and going further now, then in the reflect learning diary or the individual reflection posts, what we would like to you to be doing is connect the theory with your practice and with your situations in your PBL group. Um, how the learning, how the group process was taking place. We have always some prompt questions. If you have a problem getting starting with your reflections, maybe you probably reflect already outside, before, after, during the meetings, but you don't write it down. And your learning diary, or what we call it, the individual reflection spaces, are a good way to make this visible, also your learning, and yeah, to give you some more time maybe to connect theory to practice, and focus on something you find interesting. So there's You can read a little bit about it on the homepage as well. We During the reflection week, we will have some workshops also to help you even further to get going with your reflection posts. But this is really for you and your learning, but also, of course, a little bit in assessment for the course. Yes. Any questions, comments, or thoughts right away on this? Does this make sense to you? Yeah. If not, it's also good. Then we could have a quick discussion if you want to. Otherwise, this is just a little bit why we focus on the individual reflections is in particular in parallel then and hand in hand and to the group processes that you go through now in your PBL groups. Good to have some individual output and opportunity for you as well. So the remainder of the session will maybe be about understanding WordPress and what it is and how to get going and to get some um, little bit for your digital literacies also and your for your knowledge what is what in the digital sphere and how to be participate online and be a creator instead of a passive consumer. Just quickly, many of you might know WordPress.com, that you can create WordPress pages there on their servers. And what you maybe know, maybe not, you can also download WordPress and host it or install it wherever you want to, really, on any web hotel and on your university servers, like in our case. Hi, Karin. So, Open Network Learning, for instance, is a WordPress page hosted on Karlstad University servers. WordPress is an open source software where everyone can contribute to and build further on. And it doesn't cost anything to install it. You just need a web server or web hotel somewhere if you don't want to go to WordPress.com. That's just a little background. And why WordPress also, I don't know if you're aware of this, but 30% of all internet pages out there which you visit are run with WordPress. So if you get and your students know WordPress, they do themselves and you do yourselves a big favor because you have a lot of transferable skills. A lot of small companies run WordPress sites and yeah, do you know WordPress? You are very yeah, equip yourself with transferable skills and to run a lot of home pages. And it's a content management system like many other, but it's the most popular one. And there's millions of developers who contribute to WordPress. Open Network Learning and your PBL group space and your the ONL 252 community space are separate WordPress sites. They are not multiple WordPress sites, but they are a WordPress multi-site. This is just a concept, just quickly for you to know, and nothing too important for you, maybe. But what you can keep in mind that your own individual reflection space, if you started it, created it under Open Network Learning, is just individual WordPress site with you as an administrator, where we, as the course organizers, make a pre-selection of which themes you can use and which plugins are pre-installed, and we update the security updates. But you can still say who else should be get an account on access to your site, and you can make a lot of settings on your reflection space. Just quickly. Then my main questions, what to focus on in the remainder of the session. If you look at these word pairs and terms, do you know all of them? Could you explain them to someone else in the room or someone else? Or if you want to, is everything when you see those terms and you can unmute yourself or write in the chat, do you know all of them or do you want to give me some feedback or don't know them? None of them? No? It's okay. Then this session is then I keep on with my plans for the session. This was a little bit the idea. No, good. Front and back end content is different from appearance and a content management system like WordPress. There's plugins and themes. There's difference between posts and pages and category tags, and there are RSS feeds. All have to do in how we set up open network learning and when we talk about connecting your individual reflection spaces and aggregate all the different posts. Then I go through them one by one. And if you feel like I know all of this, then maybe you can help me explaining them and correct me if I'm saying bad stuff or you do something else. That's fine too. But this is what I'm going to go through a little bit. So then I stop my presentation here and go to the home page, Open Network Learning, because then I can show you immediately what the front end is, for instance, to start very easily. Front end is what you see, what visitors see on home pages like Open Network Learning. The public facing front end of the site, right? So what visitors, what you and me see when we're looking at this screen. The back end, on the other hand, is when you go on WordPress, add wp-admin. And then I show you now the back end of opennetworklearning.se. That you don't see usually. Only administrators with administrators' rights will see this, and you need to be logged in. You see, and the back end is also called here the dashboard or admin panel. You maybe have heard about these terms. This is where you can make all different kinds of settings for the front end, what is shown on the front end. So this is not super rocket science. Front end is what everyone sees. Back end is where you make settings and where you have the same in your courses, maybe in your learning management system. You as a teacher can do a lot of settings, and you usually do this in the back end, and then your students would see the course itself, and that would be the front end. It's very, very similar. Yeah, that makes sense. I see some nodding here. Good. And if something is unclear or I go too fast, just interrupt me. So that was front and back end. Here in the admin panel, you can do a lot of different settings. Okay, I'm logged in and go to the ONL, to one of the subsites. I go to, which one shall I choose? This was the team page from last year that I don't want to choose. Sorry, I'm going to the community space because there's the link to where I want to create a new page. And by the way, just quickly in the chat, maybe, do you all have connected or created your own individual reflection space? Or yes, good. And no problem if you haven't. So then you went through this process and you did it on Open Network Learning here, or? Yep. Most of you, I know, some of us do already have a in the private reflection space or blog somewhere, and that's also cool. We just want to offer you an easy solution to have your own WordPress instance where you don't have to hassle. More or less, yeah, no problem. So I'll walk you through this process here, where we create a new individual reflection space. Um, yeah, no problem. So it's very easily done, and you can change most of the things very, very easily. So you don't need to worry too much. The first thing you need to do is to create a slug, it's called, or a URL here, the last part of this part here for your site. And I call it now Jörg ONL 252 online demo. And there's some requirements here what you can use and not use. But here you can be a little bit Jörg doing live demo. Here you can be, this part you can change very, very easily, and you are not limited to these requirements here on the other side. This is the naming. Then ONL is very much about approaching you to open education and testing you and nudging you to share openly your individual reflections, but also thinking about sharing open educational resources, and that will be the theme for the next topic, really. But we don't want to force anyone to share openly, right? We want you to be able to decide what you want to share and how you want to share. And it's in the same way as you can, in your courses, in your LMS, you can decide who has access to your courses. You can make, for instance, Canvas courses, but I'm sure also Blackboard courses or Moodle courses open to the entire internet. If you know the address, you can take part of the content, or you can register limit access to your course or to your site to only registered students, and they need to be added with user accounts to that course or to that space site. And that's exactly same here. And here in this setting, and you can again change that later. You say how you want your site, which you're creating here, how open and visible it to be the public. Should it be openly available, and should it be, and that's the first two settings. And here you can then add a little text for robots, for Google robots to allow them or discourage them from being indexed, so that Google bots and other search bots can find this page or not and index them. But then this site, whoever has the link can see this site, or you can limit to who can see this site. Does that make sense? Yeah. So in this case, I'm choosing this one, openly available. You can quickly, I send you this link in a second, and you can see it for yourself. Um, and in the next part, you can choose different themes, and different themes are different layouts, presettings for how you can which color schemes are used, how the site is structured, and that you can also change later. And I'm choosing this one here now, and then we're pretty much ready to go. And in a second, I will have now a new sub-site here on this WordPress multi-site, and I can send you this link. Hopefully you should be able to see this. There's not much on there yet. And here's something, yeah. Here's the site, and here I already see this something went wrong when I started it. What happens to a lot of sites right now is when we create a site that the theme is broken, and I'm going now to the back end, as you see, and we figured out this is the back end. I go to themes, And here's, for instance, where you can change the themes later on when you thought, oh, I didn't want to have Koji as a theme. I want to have Rams. Then you activate this. You can have a preview. And this is the part where, when you go back to the word slides, where word pairs, where content, and now we can see if it, you can see the page now and check with this link. You should be able to see it. Can I create two languages? Yes, you can. Right now, start maybe with one, and I'll need to help out with you with one thing. You need a particular plugin which we can install, which I don't think we have activated right now. But it's definitely possible to have multilingual sites with WordPress. So now we go to the front end again. And here's the thing. One thing I wanted to explain. Content in WordPress pages and in any other content management system as well is the content, your article, your text, your headings, your pictures. This is separated from the appearance, right? Similar, you can make very easily changes. For instance, when you think of, you've all worked with Word, I think, and then you can say like this part is a heading 1, and this part is a heading 2, and this one is a text, a block text, and this part is a quote. And then you can make very easily changes to this form, right? You can then say, select all heading 1s and change them to italic font, for instance. Are you with me on this one? How you can work with Word easily? The same is here true with Joomla, with WordPress, and the difference between the content, what you've written, and how it's presented. So you can start creating text and write your reflections. And if you later feel like, oh, I want to have it structured and or visible in a different way, you can make this change very easily. You can easily change a new theme, for instance, and that changes the entire look and feel of your pages, but will not change your content as such. That is a big advantage. Yes. Then, um, then there is a difference between, and this was a content appearance. Then a big thing, the difference between posts and pages. If you go here on this new, I'm still sharing. You see my Jörg doing a live demo page still? Okay, here, if you want to create a new page, for instance, and a page would be, and this is the old editor about Jörg. And then this would be, this page is a live demo of working with WordPress, and we just quickly publish this page. Pages are more for static content, like a contact page or a bio page, maybe. This is now changing to the new Gutenberg editor in this step, so a little bit confusing maybe. And we can just see those this page. This is the page already done. You see a new link here. This was the sample page, and there was in the menu was now automatically added a link to my new page. This is more done for new for static stuff, which will be which will not change that often. Your reflections. We would recommend you, advise you, and would be good if you, instead of writing them as new pages, write them as new posts. And I'll show you a little bit what the difference is then, and will be First reflection. This online demo is going okay, I hope. And then you could choose different categories also. And we add a new live demo. I'll add a new category and publish this post. We'll jump most likely to the new Gutenberg editor here in a second, and then I'll save it one more time. And then we have created a post and we take a look at this quickly. You see a little bit the difference in the URL. If you look at the URL, posts are here by default ordered in the year it's been written, the date, the month and the date, and then the name is slug of this from the title. Look at the difference between the page, sorry. This is more static URL. You see the difference? The thing is, when you want to collect now different what we want to achieve, and I'll show you in a second that it's already up and running. You could, and we're going to the to the part what an RSS feed is. This is the RSS feed of my new demo site. And this is not very much human readable, but this RSS feed makes it possible that small computer programs can read what's happening on your page. And so if we then collect a lot of different RSS feeds here from the pages, there's a small program checking every hour if there is a new post on the different feeds. And whenever there is, you get the content here. And in this case, you can see this here already. You see the title, first reflections, that what I exactly wrote, right? And you have a link, and then there you can see here this online demo is going okay. So the content is all there, and you see the hello world post as well. So I could now write a little program, or we have a little program, and it's readily available on the net. And this is how a lot of posts and news sites are collecting news articles. This you collect RSS feeds, and this is how a feed looks like. You don't see the information from the pages, just new posts. So posts are for new small reflections, small contents, which you can collect through a RSS feed then later, and you could do different. You can add different categories to your posts. Do I still have you with me? You interrupt me if there's anything which is unclear. This was a little bit the difference between posts and pages. I mentioned already categories and tags. I'll show you what you can have use for categories, and how we use it in ONL. If we go namely to the community space, what we do here, for instance, and you see this here, you can all the different posts, right? We force you to choose a category for them. I don't know if you remember this, if you once you wrote your first post. So what you can easily do then is filter them by category. If I want to see now, I only want to see the stuff which is PBL group work. And then there is a category which is called PBL group work, and we tag them all in the background, only those parts which are um, with the category PBL group work. And you see this here, category PBL group work. Tags, on the other hand, is if you want to have smaller distinctions and if you want to have small keywords for your different posts, which and filter them, give them more fine granular tags for this is about connecting and team building and fun facts. Maybe you would could add also tags, and it's just another way of categorizing and marking different posts in a WordPress site, if that makes sense. All right. So then we talked front end, back end. Content appearance is different. We have differences between posts and pages, and we went now through categories and tags and the RSS feeds. Um, just we also had plugins and themes. Themes we covered already. I just want to mention something also because you asked about the WordPress multilingual possibilities. If you go to WordPress.org, there you will get an understanding of how huge of a community and how many people are contributing to the open source system and ecosystem WordPress. Because you can, for instance, go to themes, and there you find 13,000 different themes, which you could easily install on your WordPress site. You could also go to plugins, and plugins are small programs which enhance the functionality of the core WordPress functionality. And if you look, for instance, for multilingual, I think you will find translate multilingual sites. You find only for that category or different plugins to create multilingual WordPress sites. And we have a few, and there's a few free and a few paid plugins, small programs which extend the functionality of WordPress sites. And there's in total, I think, if we go back to the plugin directly, over 60,000 small programs which extend the functionality of WordPress, which makes it an enormous tool to create very advanced systems. For instance, at Karlstad University, we do the entire program evaluation of all our programs with WordPress and small extensions to the WordPress sites we run. And you can do very, very advanced workloads and basically whatever is possible to do with websites, you can be sure there's a way to do it with WordPress, more or less. That's why we are big fans of WordPress. All right, this was. Any questions about this so far? No? Okay. Then I'll go back to one more thing. So I'm here on my live demo site, right? And I have some and also that's also interesting to see maybe or to know. So you can create a lot of stuff in the back end, new posts, new pages, but they are not visible unless you make them visible. Because right now the setting for this page is that the starting page, the home page of my Jörg doing a live demo, is a static page, I think. No, it's not. here you see if you go, it's no, it's the posts. Here you see Hello World post and the first reflection. I was tricked by myself here that I had this link open to this page. This is a page. If we go into the home page of my demo site, then it shows all the posts, right? And if we click on one post, then you have the see the content. There is not much more. Here you could see some metadata about this, and then you would see the category live demo where there should be only one post in this category. All right. So if you want to, now we ask you to create a reflection space. Now we ask you also to connect it, because what we want to do with Open Network Learning is to create also an environment where we have network learning going on for real. So if you go back to the course homepage, you have a form where we ask you to let us know your reflection spaces and where they are, because you're not limited to do this under Open Network Learning. You could go to WordPress.com or any other web space, or maybe your university has reflection spaces or blocks for you. We also have in ONL independent learners who are not part of the PBL group, and they're connecting their individual reflection spaces so that others can find their reflections. So what we would like you to do is then, once you created your space, to let us know where you're going to reflect so that we can find it, and we would like to know where you want to share your reflections, and we can help you doing this automatically. So in this case, I'm saying I'm an independent learner, and I'll go ahead and say next here, and then I say where the link to my reflection space is, and then I'll let you. We would love to know your email address. If there's any problems, then we could get in touch with you. And then here you show. No, I'll choose Open Learner, because as independent learner, you have limited choices and don't see those things, because you as a participant, you have different opportunities. As I said earlier, we don't want to force you to share fully openly on the net, right? We would give you a decision where to share your reflections. In the best of worlds, and for open learning, you choose this one, and then we show your reflection spaces, your reflections here under individual reflections. They are listed there. If you choose community space, then we will show it in the ONL 252 community space. And for these two, we do this process automatically. Then you just have to let us know, and I'll set everything up so that whenever you wrote a new reflection, it will be shown in the respective place. If you want to choose it and to only share it with in your PBL group space, we would ask you to do this manually, to go to your reflections and just copy the URL, and then say maybe here under in your PBL group space, then write a new post and say like this is a test reflection, and just paste your post there, and choose a category and post it. This is how you can easily share it manually. If you only want to do it and share it in your PBL group space, I would like to ask you to do it this way. If you, on the other hand, want to share your reflections in the community space, then we set this up for you automatically. also if you want to share it fully openly. And you can make those changes later also, and just get in touch with us. We would, of course, encourage you to share it as openly as possible, but this is up to you. Mark asked already, and some of them are already connected. The majority of the ones, and this who said they want to share it openly, these are the spaces so far. And you see, it doesn't have to be an open network learning subsite. It can be different spaces. They need to have an RSS feed. And what happens then is if you go to under individual reflections, you see, I think right now there's two posts, one from Andreas here, and one from Mark, where this process of automatically aggregating the post to see if there's new posts on the respective sites is up and running. And this is done, I think it's checked every hour. So a little program runs through those pages and checks if there's new space. If yes, we make a small copy of these information and link then to the original page. And one thing you could always do is and the ABC of blogging, it's called sometimes. Always be commenting. If you read a colleague's post here on reflections, make sure you leave a little comment. Hi, Andreas. Great to see you are up and running. Speak soon. Leave a little comment that for Andreas to know that you've been on his site and read his posts. Very nice. This is how we would like to, or our way of setting up open network learning and giving you at the same time the opportunity to be in charge of how openly you want to share. And this is the rough run through about the different parts of how to set up your reflection space, some broad categories and namings and technical considerations about WordPress. One thing I forgot, I just wanted to show you. WordPress is very powerful and heavily used. There is under the WordPress.org a section Learn WordPress. Everything is documented also for developers, but there's, and I don't know why I'm getting the German because I'm from Germany, but I don't know where I can change this setting. Here, it's definitely available also in Swedish, but also in English. There's a lot of now I'm completely confused. This is part is in German, but this part seems to be in English. Check it out. There's a lot of videos, articles in how to get going with WordPress. If you want to learn more, there's plenty out here in Swedish, but in many other languages. It's there's thousands of developers and users of WordPress. So very powerful tool to be working with. I stop here.